Not the sports news on Africa with Romy Titus and Kevin McCallum.
Good morning.
It's not mayhem today.
It's a Friday. Hip hip hooray.
Mayhem on a Friday. It was great.
It's a Friday.
I love Fridays. I just like the show. I just like it's a bit of a jaw.
I like the show every day. Except on a Thursday, because then I learn how not to bet.
Well, that's it.
Then, I like it actually, because we get to poke fun at you, and then come Monday we get to laugh.
You laugh at me twice a week, basically.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it out loud. But
the truth is.
but I've got all faith in you.
Me too.
Kev, I really do.
This weekend's the weekend.
Yes, because you went a little differently. It's a different approach, and I think that I like that for you. And
Liverpool are going to win the Carabao Cup. I kept calling it the Carabao Cup.
Yes, no, I heard you, but it's okay. I see you've localized it.
Carabao Cup.
Carabao Cup.
Carabao. I mean, didn't he play for Chiefs once? Carabao.
I work with Carabao at Supersport, and we call it the Carabao Cup. Actually, like, hey, are you working on your cup this weekend?
Awesome. It's going to be a big weekend for sport. We're going to be speaking to
Kriya Gangia.
Gangia, thank you. Glad you said it. F1 analysis for Supersport, but F1 season starts.
Yes, it
does. You've got live updates there?
Yes, I was busy checking it out now because a practice session ended not too long ago, and so Leclerc sets the pace ahead of Piastri and Norris. That's during the second practice round out down under, if you would. So it's Leclerc first, Oscar Piastri. So it's Ferrari, McLaren again with Lando Norris, Yuki Tsunoda of Racing Bulls, and Louis finished fifth there. He finished 12th in the first practice round. I was not very happy. I was a little bit nervous because, come on, Louis, it's all eyes on you. Mm-hmm. You're in red now, and it's exciting. But look, I wasn't happy, but I'm a little happier now.
Well, he was complaining. I was watching it this morning quite early, about 4:30 or 5 o'clock.
Are you up again that early?
And he was complaining to the pits, to the Ferrari pits over the radio, saying, I can't turn the car in. So obviously he was just...
Turn the wheel, turn it.
Because it's a tight track. What's it, Albert Park in Melbourne. I've actually ridden around on a bicycle. It's not a proper track. It's actually a street track. But
did I ever tell you about my F1 ×2 Grand Prix experience? I did. No, I did. I couldn't get to the guy's name, and I still can't at Kyalami, but that was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've actually driven around Kyalami in a single-seater. And we did, it was super sport. I put the day on, and we all drove around these little 3,000cc little cars.
Yeah.
And my seat was, because I'm so short, I had to put a pillow behind my back so I could reach the pedals. But
look,
that said, I was the fastest guy on the day. I actually got a prize.
Well
for
done. But you see, lighter, the better. Mm-hmm. The smaller, the faster. Because you can't be a heavy dude in the car when you need to take this car at lightning bolt speed. It makes perfect sense. Also, why jockeys are tiny and smaller built, because you cannot have, let's say, I don't know if you know Rhino, the strongest man in South Africa, heavy, big built guy. You can't have him on the back of a horse or have him in a race car. It just doesn't make sense. So it makes perfect sense to me as to why you came first. Well done to you.
Yes, I loved it. Diving into corners, going a bit sideways. It was such
How
a
was your
joy.
neck muscles after that?
It was only 5 laps, so 5 or 6 laps.
No, my neck was like the G-force really. I was like, every time we took a corner, my head was bopping on the side there.
And also I was in Monaco once, and we didn't bribe the guy, but there was a driver with Mercedes-Benz, and this is 2001 for the Laureus Awards. And we said, listen,
which one were you at?
Give us a lap at the top. 2001.
Australia?
No, it's Monaco.
Oh, okay.
So we asked him, please, take us around the track. And he did, and he gave it a bit of a tonk. We went up past the casino.
Oh,
we were staying in the same hotel that's on the hairpin.
Oh, I did the Malaysia one. I think that was 2014.
Oh, no.
That's when I got to see Lewis for the very first time and wave actually from the sidelines. They're like, hey, Louis.
Did he have his pants on?
Look, I also had to wear my hair over my one eye because I picked up a really bad eye infection.
Okay.
So I was just kind of like seeing the world through one eye at that time.
I've been an F1 fan since I was a kid. My dad was a big motorsports fan. We used to watch... We were big McLaren fans even back then. That was from James Hunt, John Watson, and Northern Irishman, just to drive for them, Nicky Lauda, all that sort of early era, and I've always stuck with it.
I joined a little late, to be honest.
But it's you have to get to know it. It's like watching a test cricket. You have to understand the intricacies and
already you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Test cricket. So hence I say I'm a late bloomer when it comes to F1. And when Louis came on the scene, I was really excited. I started following F1 a little bit before that when I was in the F1 x2 Grand Prix car, and I kind of got why the guys do what they do. And that's when I started following it.
But it's
not a fan of Alonso's, though.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I read Lewis's, the book that he came out with, and I was like,
You must be happy this morning. United won. They beat Real Sociedad 4-1 in the Europa League quarter. Then it was the last 16, then to the Europa League quarterfinals. So they won 5-2 in aggregate. There's a really nice moment. So they got a Danish defender or sort of midfielder called Dorgu, sorry, and he actually was giving the referee gave a penalty for him, and he went up to the referee and said, "Listen, no, it's wrong." And afterwards, Ruben Amorim, the Manchester United coach, said, "Listen, were you quite happy about that? Were you proud? Were you a bit worried?"
Performance seemed to have good end product as well, but also the fact that he was seen telling the referee they didn't think it was a penalty when he won. I mean, as a manager, do you like to see that sportsmanship?
It depends. It's the right thing. It's the right thing to do. So I'm quite proud of him. But it depends. I cannot say if it's 0-0 or losing if I have the same response. So he did well. He did a great performance. He was improving during the game. So he's learning a lot in that position. He has the physicality. He's clearly able to play in our league. So it was a good game and a good action from Dorgu.
Yeah. Like he said, if it had been 1-1, if it had been 0-0, and he decides he's not going to give the penalty. I don't remember years ago, Robbie Fowler did the same thing, I think against Arsenal, and he actually tried to jump over the keeper, so the keeper came out, took the ball, and he actually dived over him to avoid contact. And, then the referee gave the penalty, and he said, no, it's not a penalty. And the referee said, but I've given it. He said, no, it's not a penalty. But he still took it, and keeper saved the first shot, and he scored in the rebound. And he didn't celebrate massively because he felt, but he won a FIFA award for fair play that year for that.
oh, wow.
So that's the
play
sort of thing.
fair, fair play.
Yeah, I know some people dive for penalties and they go down too easily, but I mean, there's so much pulling of shirts and there's so much touches.
Argy-bargy.
Yeah, and it's the stuff they get away with. Nah, I would never get away with in my day. I mean, they're almost like that. They hug each other.
Yeah.
Like a big Bruce man.
Well, there is one of those. We're talking about Coach Hugo Broos. Yesterday, he announced his squad that will be facing Benin as well as Lesotho. Lesotho happening on Human Rights Day out in Polokwane. And there is like a curtain raiser to that. I call it a curtain raiser even though it's before, because I think Skokune United are playing there as well, just to kind of give the turf a good run since it has been revamped and everything is looking really good. But I mean, really, guys, really. An embarrassing moment. I'm embarrassed. All right? Because Khulumani Ndamane's missing passport necessitated his removal from the team. He should be embarrassed. Because, come on. If it is that you're an international player and you're being called up for a World Cup qualifier, how do you not have a passport? However, I'm sure that on national duty, you can actually inquire at Home Affairs to expedite a passport. I'm not saying it can be done. I'm just saying at a national level, think about it. If you're a minister and you don't have a passport or it goes missing, but you're leaving today to go somewhere, come on. Is Home Affairs not going to run to your aid and assist you in order for you to go and do duty for your country wherever? The same is here. But then again, the onus is on the players. But this is just it. It's why I say that footballers are just spoiled. They're spoiled in every way.
Yeah.
All you need to do is open your eyes in the morning, go and play football because you're good at it. I don't think they know how to fill out a visa form to start off with.
Yeah.
I don't think they could cook. Like, just think about it. It's from camp to camp to camp. That's your entire life. You wake up, you report for duty. Breakfast is there. What are you having? Right? Obviously, strict diet. You go and you train. You come off. Lunch is there. What are you having? You go home, massage, masseuse, physio, whatever else you need. Oh my gosh, you have sore pinky finger. Somebody is there. And repeat. But I just think if you're serious, right, you will have a passport. And if you don't want to be in the national team, you know what? When the coach calls you up to say, hey, I'm calling you, please have the decency to actually say, coach, don't, because I don't want to play for the national team. And that too is okay, right? Rather do that than do everybody else a disservice and embarrass yourself and the entire national team. Why? Because you don't have a freaking passport.
It's been rugby players have done the same thing years
No,
ago. They
man.
used to do the same thing, and they would actually physically. Then I remember what's her name, Anne.
I mean, an ID
Yeah,
is
you have to ask him.
$16 or something. A passport is between 400 and 600. But come on, guys.
Also, Home Affairs is quite jacked now. I remember queuing for almost 2 days to get a passport, and then just to apply, and then it took them a week and a half to get it.
That annoys me. It annoys me to no end. And also, when it is that you're playing internationally, you can't have an ID. Yes, you're playing at home and whatever. You have to have a passport. Guys, I don't know if I say this from a place of annoyance and irritation because I've always had a passport from the minute I opened my eyes. But come on. It's so simple to get. Now your passport is rather just say you don't want to play, okay? And we'll accept that. But don't come here with big, long stories. I'm not happy.
And that squad, I see,
Let's read
I
it.
see Jaden's back.
Yes, Jaden is back. I think
Ronwin?
I'm sure the coach has spoken to him. Ronwin is back. So it goes Ronwin, Williams, Ricardo Goss. You see Veli out. He's not there. Sipo Chain, Sydney Mobi, Grant Kekana comes in. I think it is for the Khulumani Ndamane. Thabo Maloesane, Nkosanati Sibisi, Aubrey Mudiba, Siyabonga Ngezana. Remember, he was running after the bus.
Yeah. So he's fit.
Don't be late. Don't be late.
He's fit.
Kuriso Mudao for Waz Basadin, Taboho Mokwena, Batusi Obas, Talent Mbata, Jaden Adams back, Oswin Apollos, Patrick Maswangani. Let me tell you something interesting about Jaden and Oswin. They share a room. But Jaden's second name is Oswin.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's actually Jaden Oswin Adams. And then Oswin Reagan Apollos. Just some did you knows. Patrick Maswangani, Mdu's favorite player, Ikram Reynes, Elias Mokwana, Lyle Foster is there, Tapelo Morena, Percy Tau, and Rela Bohile Mofukeng. So congrats to all the guys.
Look at that team. And I like the fact that Hugo Broos is now expanding his romance. And I call it the Broos month. So he and Rassie are now talking to each other. So Rassie and he had a meeting. I think it was a little while back, and Rassie just put it on Twitter now. And Hugo Broos said his recent interaction with Rassie Erasmus was so enlightening, and he's now been invited back by Rassie to come to the Bok training session and a test match when he's available. And he said, we agree. I want to see how he manages the team. He wants to see how I manage the team. And that cross-pollination
is really good. However, two very different sports, two very different temperaments of teams that come together, lessons can be learned. But I still feel they are complete opposites.
Yeah.
So what works for the Boks is not going to work for Bafana. And I think there's little gems that they can exchange. But in terms of management, I think it's extremely different.
I think ethos is what they might share, because they both share the same sort of ethos. So there's empathy from Hugo Broos and from Rassie Erasmus towards his players and what they mean and what they do for the country. And there's also discipline. And I thought Hugo Broos brought that in. And that's a big one. And Rassie's very strict. Well, not very strict on it, but by teaching the guys responsibility, they learn discipline. And that's what I think Hugo Broos has done. Because he hasn't been like a disciplinarian.
No. Look, I want to say no because, look, at the end of the day, this is a coach and these are the players, right? I don't want to say father and sons because I don't think it is. I think it is more of a professional setup. But also Jaden Adams coming back into the fold of a Bafana after being left out for various reasons, and you bring in discipline. For him to come back is going to be a conversation first about discipline and about why you were left out the last time, right? Yeah. We include you now. Just know I fired a warning shot.
Have a look around you, man. These are your teammates. You are not the star here. Everyone's the star.
It's a collective. It's not an individual sport.
One star who is a star is Cheslin Colby and Nadine Roos. He won the SA Men's Rugby Player of the Year, and Nadine Roos won the Women's Rugby Player of the Year. And Sasha
Feinberg Ngomezulu,
he won the Young Player of the Year. So great result. I mean, surprisingly enough, I don't know how they did it, but the Springboks and Rassie Erasmus won Team and Coach of the Year at the SA Rugby Awards.
Team and Coach.
Quickly, before we go to the break, there's a new teen sprint sensation. His name is Karabo Letebele. He's 18, just matriculated from Grey College in Bloom last year. He ran a 10.19, but he beat the African record holder from Kenya. And Ferdinand Omanyala has not been beaten in South Africa for the last 6 times he's run here. And this kid blitz him, and 18 years old.
Letebele.
Remember, we've got a lot of young sprinters coming through the ranks. They're impressive.
We actually need to get Manfred Seidler just to give us some inside information, especially now with athletics heating up the way that it is. And as you're saying, Karabo Letebele, 18. I guess a name to watch.
Indeed. I mean, I'm very excited about the next Olympics and the next Commonwealth Games. I'm also excited about eating. And winning begins with what you eat. Boost your energy with AGT Foods, a range of nutritious grains and legumes. Play better, live healthier. Brought to you by AGT Foods Africa. Good food, good health, good life.
Not the sports news on Omni Audio Africa.